Ricardo. This is Inspire FM 105.1 FM. This is Friday Night Live. Big welcome to UK-wide Luton, Sheffield, Nottingham, Peterborough and the Midlands. I'm joined today with Zaffar Iqbal. Salam, Zaffar.
Walaikum salam ji.
And Sister Laura. How are you, Laura Condor?
I'm good, thank you. Welcome salam as well.
Okay, so unfortunately, listeners, we had a lot of difficulty after Ramadan
getting in gear.
Yeah,
getting people in the studio.
Yes.
So I was available, but unfortunately nobody else was.
Yes.
So
once you take a break, then things fill the gaps, and then it's hard to get back into routine again. But we're happy to be back, Friday Night Live.
Mm-hmm.
Listeners, wherever you are, 105.1 FM. This is Inspire FM. And like Brother Abu Bakr Cooper said, this is being broadcast not just in Luton, but Sheffield, Nottingham, Peterborough, and the Midlands, and also globally via our website and also social media, etc. So if you're listening from wherever you are, whichever place in the world, welcome, and hopefully you will have an entertaining hour of political and news discussion.
Well, the last couple of months since we were last on air, a lot has been going on. I don't know if you can remember before Ramadan, but that was when all of the USA's Navy were convening or invading, I don't know whatever word you want to use, but
heading towards
into the Middle East. And of course, the last 6 weeks, of course, we know that the war has taken part. So yeah, so listeners, we're going to be talking about like that just quickly, because we're going to have us at Adan coming up in a couple of minutes. Just before we kicked off, we just wanted to just have a quick shout out to our Jewish community in Luton, and on the station, the local synagogue with Mr. Brian Green, who personally actually I've interviewed and spoken to, and I think you have as well, haven't you, Laura?
I've met him, and you had him on Friday Night Live.
Indeed, a few times.
He's been fantastic.
Yeah, so a big show of love and best wishes to our Jewish community, who obviously we've had a very upsetting and difficult thing happen in the last couple of days. But unfortunately, because of the rules, because the person has actually been charged now, we can't actually discuss the situation going on. So you might still hear reports of a man being arrested, but actually talking about the angles of it and why it happened and stuff, we can't actually discuss, because obviously it's a legal case now, and once it's a legal case, we could be prejudicial in influencing anyone that is going to be called up for jury service. So unfortunately, that's not something that we'll be discussing today. Anything caught your eyes the last couple of days, Laura?
I think it's just everything with Starmer. I don't know how he's hanging on by a thread, isn't he? He's fighting for his life at all angles. It doesn't matter what happens. He seems to be catching some flack from somewhere, whether it's the Pete Mandelson thing, whether it's Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Actively trying to push him out himself.
Yeah, that is something that we're definitely going to discuss after the Adan, because it's like, it wasn't me. The minions didn't tell me anything. Yeah, but anyway, so I'm going to develop quite an argument there to put it in perspective about why that doesn't hold any water. So. Yeah, how about you, Zaffar? What's caught your eyes in the last couple of days?
Well, it's been that, but also the UAE basically not joining OPEC or moving away from
today,
OPEC.
The 1st of May. It's
first of May today. Yeah, that's today. Right. Yeah, so they've been the original founding members or original members of OPEC. OPEC, listeners, if you don't know what it is, it's an oil-producing countries conglomerate, so to speak. It's like a union, but some of them call it a cartel.
I think it's oil-producing and exporting countries, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, OPEC. It's like a union of all countries who export oil. Their main function really is to coordinate the production of oil to keep the prices stable. So that's the main purpose.
Okay, listeners, so I'm just going to stop there. We've got the Asaridan coming up. Salami.
Ideal Properties. Contact us on 01582 721110 or log on to www.idealpropertiesltd.co.uk.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
Assalamu alaikum, listeners. Welcome back. Okay, inshallah. So we're gonna get started. So the main topic we're looking at this evening is the war and the oil and who profits. So rising tensions with Iran have pushed global oil prices higher. Actually, yesterday, I think pretty much they hit a record yesterday. It went over $120 a barrel yesterday. So this is clearly creating immediate gains for the energy companies, but it's hitting you, me, and every single person that runs a vehicle, or ultimately, I mean, at the moment we're protected because of the energy price cap, but as soon as that changes in a few months' time, we could be looking at much higher bills like we had during COVID. So this really raises an ethical and economical questions. Should corporations be benefiting during this global conflict, and is our parliament doing enough? In other words, why is there no emergency legislation to actually tax these excess profits immediately and, sort out what we're paying? What do you think, Zaffar?
I think there needs to be some action to actually in some ways curtail some of this profiteering. We all know that oil and energy supplies are purchased in advance.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes months, sometimes years in advance at a price. However, whenever there's a turbulence in the oil price, the first thing that goes up is the retail end, which is the consumer end. So you see immediately the petrol prices going up and diesel prices going up.
But what
Yet you know for a fact that prices won't hit the companies until months, if not years later. So I think, you know, if there was I think governments don't tend to sort of intervene in these type of things because they can't in many ways. But it is unethical, to say the least, the fact that you've got a bank of cheap oil that you bought 6 months or a year ago. Wait until that runs out before you increase your prices.
Yeah. What do you think, Laura?
I think it's really frustrating because, like you said, every time these sort of conflicts, we saw it when the Ukraine war happened, suddenly everyone's fuel energy prices were skyrocketing and gas prices were skyrocketing, and it is all pure profit at this point. There should be a tax. I'm going to say it. There should be a windfall tax. We could really benefit from the extra money coming in to the government system. Where it will go, I don't know. Whether it will go on the right things, I can't answer that either. But if it could go into something
it should go in subsidies, fuel subsidies.
Yeah, or the NHS as well, that desperately needs extra money at the minute. To fix the doctor strikes. That's a whole other subject in itself.
Yeah. Well, I've just done a little calculation here on our notes. So as far as I can recall, before this started, I was paying $1.35 a litre for the diesel for my little car.
That's
right. It's now about $1.95, so it's gone up 60 pence.
Correct.
And I think petrol stations in Luton specifically seem to be deliberately driving up the prices even more, because I've noticed elsewhere.
I was in London a couple of days ago and it was cheaper in London.
Yeah, and it's a real problem. And I notice that every time there's an issue, in Luton particularly, they will drive up the prices. I don't know why specifically here.
The cheapest fuel I've ever, because I used to be a driving instructor. Cheapest fuel I've ever seen was in Stevenage.
Yeah,
Stevenage is always the cheapest.
I don't know. I paid the most. I paid the most the other day. I had to pay £108 to top up my tank, and I was crying.
Wow.
Crying, and that's diesel, and that was about around 55 litres, roughly, just over.
Yeah, your car is absolutely enormous, though, Laura.
I've got a lot of children that I have to scoot about everywhere. But like I said, it seems deliberate. I don't know if anyone elsewhere in the country is listening. Let us know what the petrol diesel prices are like where you are, because
thing is, listeners, 60 pence it's gone up since the start of this. But what you need to remember, listeners, is 20% of that is tax. So that's about 12.
Is it 20%? It used to be a lot more than that. No, surely.
No, because it's the tax that they put on the fuel, but that additional cost due to the increased price, they're getting VAT on that.
So they're getting double.
So you're actually paying about an additional 12 pence in every litre you buy. Right now, it's going straight into the coffers of our government.
Well, they should be able to.
But of course, they're sitting there because all they're thinking about is how are they going to manage the backdraft of the McSweeney thing and the Lord Mandelson thing, and that's actually.
I refuse to call that man a lord.
That's actually why our government is in free. I mean, we're not being governed. I mean, right now, this is the only topic anyone in the country is interested in.
I'm shocked that we haven't run out yet, to be honest, of fuel. That there's been no situation where someone's, we start to see, when we had that fuel crisis a few years ago.
I went up north over the weekend, and there were signs in a few places I saw where diesel, in the motorway services had run out. So the overhead messaging that you get on the motorway was saying that there's no diesel or no petrol in the service stations over there. So maybe it is in certain sectors.
Here's one for you guys, because you know I'm always keen on numbers and figures. Just in the last 3 months, just BP. So we're only talking about BP, none of the other companies.
Yeah.
Their profits were £2.1 billion just in the last 3 months.
Wow.
Some shareholders are going to be very happy at the minute. Very, very happy.
War dividends.
The country is literally creaking. I mean, let's be honest. What our government is doing nothing. The public, literally your reaction. £108 it costs you to fill up your tank. I mean, my little car is only about 45 litres, but I've got to go and fill it up. So I'm looking at probably £85 for my little tank,
which is what I used to pay before. So that will give you an idea of how drastic it's gone up.
Well, I was paying about £48 before.
Wow. It's
That's
scary.
when I first got my car, that's what I was paying, about £48 every time I filled it up.
It did seem to stabilise after the last couple of days, though, the prices, but
this is gonna
drag on
exactly as it did during COVID when Mr. Putin invaded Ukraine. It pushed inflation.
But that was almost
fuel
immediate.
prices. The fuel
That
prices pushed inflation up very, very quickly. The same is going to happen here. We've perhaps got no more than another 3 or 4 weeks before everything starts to go up in price.
it already has.
Yeah,
Things like cucumbers are 90 pence now for a cucumber.
And the government's not talking about it. I've come across figures with some of the economists that I follow on YouTube. We're looking at potentially 6 to 7% interest rates by the end of the year.
That's scary. That is a very scary number.
Near enough double what they are now. They're now at 3.75.
Well,
so imagine how much that is going to affect people's mortgages, everything.
I'm kind of glad our mortgage fell through.
Yeah,
it's very scary. It's very scary. I think already as well, we've already been struggling for a number of years with stagnant wages, with rising inflation, but it's only going to get worse. And I don't know at what point it becomes a breaking point, and that people, Luton is in the top. Some parts of Luton are in the top 10% of deprivation in the whole of the UK.
Yeah.
That's a scary figure.
Yeah,
and it's only going to get worse. And I don't know how we counteract that. We are very lucky that we've got a lot of support network in Luton, a lot of things like that. But elsewhere in the country, they don't have those kinds of things. What are those people in those northern community towns that don't have the same sort of things? What are they going to do?
Yeah. I mean, why no politician is talking just on the issue of the VAT? Right now, every litre we buy, 12 pence additional. So we're not talking about the fuel tax that they want. It's additional VAT is going straight to our government. 12p.
What are they doing here?
They could be knocking that off straight away, and that could bring it down 12 pence right now.
But would the petrol stations actually bring it down? That's the biggest thing, realistically.
Well, they need to.
I think that's. I can imagine that will be their excuse.
It's quite simple. They need to legislate, don't they? We're in an emergency situation.
They do need to legislate, but I can imagine that petrol stations will not do that.
We are not part of this war, but ipso facto, absolutely, we are 100% feeling the consequences of this war, and our government is just in sleep mode. They're not doing anything.
Well, they just actively don't want to do anything. We all know why Trump invaded. Let's be honest. It is for the oil.
It's not because.
It's not because.
No. It's not because Iran is one of the world's largest crop growers of dates or cabbages.
No, definitely not.
No, it's not because we want their cabbages or their lovely dates.
I don't think Americans know what cabbages or
I'm
dates are.
I'm going to say that because actually Persian dates are my favourite. I love Persian dates. But no, that's not why they've invaded. That's not why they didn't go into Venezuela because, they grow the best cabbages in the world. That's not why they went into Venezuela either, is it?
The most frustrating thing is that this is the man that came into government saying that he
wasn't going to go to war.
He wasn't going to go to war, and he's already taken out a president and arrested him and had him extradited to his own country to face charges that are very ironically trumped up. And now, trumped up. And now he started another war that didn't even need to happen. And then the Iranians have been the way they are for decades. It's not really suddenly changed. They've not started behaving any different to how they have been since the Islamic Revolution was there.
So seriously, listeners, I would earnestly suggest, be active on your social media, because the politicians do monitor what is going on social media. Start saying that you want a windfall tax, that you want a refund of all the additional VAT that has been being paid on your fuel. I mean, families are in crisis right now.
I think to be honest, VAT removal of VAT to sort of aid the consumer is one aspect. The other aspect is if there's a way, and I don't know how it's possible or not, if there's a way to legislate to say you've got to keep your prices in line with the supply. So if the supply, there's difficulties with supply, at the point where you start feeling the pain, that's when you raise prices, not in advance.
Yeah.
So we're paying in advance of the crisis. The crisis probably hasn't hit yet.
Yeah.
I think UK is using its reserves, right? So, but that hasn't reduced the prices. UK emergency sort of fuel is being probably used at the moment. I think it is being used at the moment. And if that's the case, right, it's a tragedy, right, that the forecourts are profiteering, right, on UK's strategic assets.
Yeah, we are somewhat insulated in terms of gas because of the supply from the North Sea and what we get from Norway. But we don't get most of our fuel and diesel. And in actual fact, we're actually in surplus with petrol because we actually refine and make a lot of petrol. But we will have a shortage of diesel.
It's a great time to be a diesel car owner, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. I'm a diesel owner.
It begs the question then, why is it that the forecourts are able to then instantly, as soon as something happens, instantly raise prices?
Yeah.
So there must be something dodgy going on. If you're saying in Luton, right, a lot of them raise prices simultaneously, there must be collaboration between the stations to sort of say, well, okay.
Well, they're franchise zones, aren't they?
Yeah. Should we all put them up all at once? Or probably. Yeah, you're right. They're franchises.
Yeah.
But there has to be something that But then again, governments have become weaker and weaker over the years. Basically, to be honest, I've noticed, right, in the days when, if the governments raised the pen, basically, right, the businesses, etc., felt the pain straight away. And now it's the other way around. I think they seem to be able to dictate to the governments what their policies should be and what the policies in their favor should be. And the person or the stakeholders who's ignored are the voters, the constituents.
But I had to drive down to Enfield on Saturday. So my first form group, going back like 20 odd years ago. I mean, these guys were in their 40s. They've turned 40 now. So they had we had a reunion barbecue. So me and my son went, and everyone on the motorway everyone was sticking at about 60.
Yeah.
That it really hit me. I thought, wow, no one's going quickly.
Well, to kind of talk about what you were saying about petrol stations and whether I believe like a lot of families, like same people own set petrol stations in the UK, particularly in Luton, particularly. And I'd imagine that they do have conversations about putting the prices up because you can see that all of them are very similar, depending on what brand.
I can imagine a WhatsApp group, right? All the retailers, right, or the petrol station retailers to say, right, guys, we're upping it by 5p.
Yeah, I can actually imagine that happening, and because even the independent ones that are not like the big names like Shell, BP, they've whacked their prices up as well, and they probably don't have as many costs or buffers as.
But that see, they can raise prices as long as everyone works in tandem, and this is the whole thing about OPEC. OPEC, because they worked in tandem, right? They control the prices. Now you've got UAE breaking away. So technically speaking, that could be a good thing for UK and Europe, right? Because UAE could produce, a huge amount of more petrol, which could drive prices down for everybody else. So it could act as the rebel, so to speak, and not act in tandem. But I suspect that's probably not going to happen because, you end up producing a lot more and selling a lot more of your asset effectively in order to get the same profit, whereas you could get, similar amount for with higher prices. So it's an interesting thing, to be honest, right? But I think we live in a free market, and we allow businesses to do what they want. But I think at some point, right, I think the consumers also need to be protected as well.
All right, listeners. So we've got about 5 seconds through to our ads. So Assalamu alaikum. We'll catch you in the second half.
This program will continue after the break. Continue listening to Inspire FM. Inspire FM.
Inspire 105.1 FM.
The status of a Muslim woman in Islam. When she is a daughter, she opens a door of Jannah for her father. When she is a wife, she completes half of the deen of her husband. And when she is a mother, Jannah lies under her feet.
Visit Luton's biggest halal supermarket, the Grand Bazaar Supermarket on Lee Grave Road, for an unbeatable range of fresh halal meat, poultry, fish, fruits and vegetables from all around the world. And all under one roof. Plus everyday essentials, basic healthcare items and even medicine. Everything you need, all in one place. That's the Grand Bazaar Supermarket, Lee Grave Road, just next door to Shell, Luton's largest international supermarket. Open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and view online at grandbazaarluton.com.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Hajj preparation tips from Inspire FM. Begin with sincere intention for Allah alone. Seek forgiveness, resolve wrong, settle debts and prepare your will. Purify your heart from pride and status. Make daily repentance, asking Allah to accept your journey. These Hajj preparation tips were brought to you by Inspire FM. Keep listening for more information.
Are you looking for a prompt let and comprehensive property management by property professionals? If so, relax and let a safe registered agent take care of all your property matters. Marigold Residentials believe in 100% customer satisfaction and aim to provide quality service at very competitive prices. Why not also let us take care of your property sale? Visit us at 251 Dunstable Road or call us on 617 617. Terms and conditions apply.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Inspire FM's exam preparation jingles. My name is Sophia and we will motivate and give tips to our upcoming exam sitters. Wake up early, seize the light, knowledge grows with every bite. Answer questions, stay on cue, exams will be a breeze for you. Thank you for listening to Inspire FM jingles. Please continue listening to Inspire FM for more exam tips.
Universal Clutches on Cosgrove Way in Luton offer more than just clutch repairs. We also now cover MOTs, servicing, brakes, suspension and vehicle recoveries. We've got you covered whether you drive a manual or semi-automatic car, van or truck. We aim to provide a quick and reliable service, and Universal Clutches are an AA and RAC approved garage. For a reliable service you can trust, call 01582 876 300 or find Universal Clutches on Google, Instagram and Facebook.
Juggling too much? Trying to keep it all together without losing your mind? You deserve some me time. Join me, Neelam, on Mother's Planet every Friday at 10 o'clock on air at 105.1 FM or via our Inspire FM Facebook page. I'll be sharing tips and discussions with my guests on topics from kids, what to cook, health, well-being and lots more for all you special mums. That's Mother's Planet every Friday from 10 a.m. only at Inspire FM 105.1 FM.
From the studios of Inspire FM, the time is now 6:30.
Assalamu alaikum, listeners. Welcome back to Friday Night Live. So the second half. Okay, so we're going to move on. So we're going to be looking at today, with everything that's been going on, about what's going on with the global power shift. Now, why are we thinking that? There's a famous American saying: if you want to know why something is happening, follow the money.
Mm-hmm.
So these changes that are happening. So literally today, listeners, I don't know if you realise this, but the UAE. So that's Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Fujairah, and I think there's a total of 7 states in the UAE. They've left OPEC, the oil producing and exporting countries, which they've been part of for close to 50 years. Now this is very significant because OPEC together sets and decides how much oil that they're together collectively that they're going to produce and then export. So when times are difficult, they will increase production, and that will, as a result, decrease the world energy prices, and at other times they will decrease production to push the price up. So this is quite significant. Zaffar, what do you think? What do you think is the reason that the UAE has done this? What do you think their thinking is?
I think UAE and Saudi Arabia have been, should we say, competitors, to say the least.
Yeah.
I think there's some reaction from UAE in terms of what they expected from Saudi retaliation to Iran's attack on UAE. That's been suggested as a reason that they're actually not very friendly terms anymore. And to snob Saudi, they've actually broken away from
Yeah.
Others say it's
It's interesting your angle, because there's been a lot that has been said that the reason why the UAE signed the Abraham peace accords with Israel was to get in very, very tight with Israel so that they would then get sort of political cover and insulation from Saudi Arabia being tough with them, because they're now tight partners with Israel.
But not only that, they've been competing in a number of arenas, to be honest. So in Sudan, they're up against each other. UAE has been funding one side of the equation, and then Saudi other. Libya is the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think recently Saudi Arabia attacked UAE units basically in Yemen, because they were actively trying to sort of destabilize Yemen in favor of pro-Israel, pro-UAE groups, effectively. And Saudi group that was there to maintain Saudi influence was attacked by the UAE unit, and Saudi retaliated. And so there was a bit of a military standoff between the two as well. So the UAE is outsized in its influence in the region, primarily because it is close to Israel and USA as well.
Yeah.
And some people say that
a lot of people don't realize that the UAE is actually quite a tiny country.
It is a tiny. It's a very tiny country, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it has basically been affected the most because it was seen as a stable region. A lot of people from Europe and Australasia, etc., traveled there and lived there. It was seen as a modern city, modern place, and a very stable place. But that's all gone because it was under attack from Iran. I think people won't see it as that stable anymore. Plus, also, I think some of the policies of the UAE have been very caustic. So a lot of people who don't agree with their outlook or Islamic outlook have been targeted by UAE as well. So that's to bear in mind. But this particular decision about OPEC, I think, is probably also driven by the Americans. The Americans have been asking for a while for them to break away so they can benefit from cheap oil, because one of the things that if you're not part of the OPEC agreement, then you can pump out oil as much as you want and set your own prices.
Yeah. Well, not at the moment, because it can't get through the straits.
No, definitely can't.
But interesting, Laura, because something I read just a couple of days ago, what the UAE is planning to do is bypass the oil going around the Horn on the Straits of Hormuz, move it straight across the country to the port of Fujairah, which is on the coast on the other side of the Horn. So if they do that, they'll be able to have the tankers go there, bypass having to go round the Horn there at all, and then take it straight out. So whether that's their long-term goal, we'll have to see. Because I've actually been to Fujairah. The ports there are very large, actually. Yeah, it's a very. Sorry, Laura, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I think the UAE has become, I hate the term, but completely westernized. It sides with Western governments. Yeah. It has become completely. It's not an Islamic state. I wouldn't say at all. Anyway,
the analogy just popped in my head. You remember back during the Iraq War, and they said that we were George Bush's poodle. So
it's very much the Middle East poodle for Trump and for Netanyahu as well, because he needs someone on his side in the Middle East. I mean, I know the others are not really doing anything to either way, but you know, they seem to support him the most out of everyone. Yeah. I mean, the place is. I'm not going to go there anytime soon, so I'll say it. I'm probably going to get banned probably from the UAE for saying this, but it does seem it attracts the wrong sort of person. A lot of British criminals will escape out there because there's no extradition to the UK, or it's very hard to extradite back to the UK. So it's become the Spain, the former Costa del Sol of the British criminal expats that are on the run.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so a lot of
there's no extradition treaty between
there isn't
the UK and Dubai.
They can get it, but it's extremely hard work, and it would take the UAE someone very important, like someone that's committed something pretty heinous, to extradite someone from the UAE. So it's a chosen place for many criminals to operate out of. Yeah. And like I said, they've left all Islamic values at the door completely, and it's become a huge playground for the wrong type of people. And I'm not surprised that they're cozying up with the US, and the US are probably hoping it will keep them in some sort of global hierarchy position.
Here's one for both of you. I mean, you guys know this. I work with you a lot. I'm a big radio listener. I listen to radio probably 2 to 3 hours every day. So I was listening to Farming Today. It's on between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. in the morning on
Farming Today.
Radio 4?
Radio 5.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Sorry, no, Radio 4.
I was going to say that's
Radio 5. Radio 5 is the money show.
Yeah, I was going to say that's very much good. Radio 4.
Radio 4.
5 in the morning for the farming show. Nice one.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're going to say. ABC, get a life. One day. Yeah.
When he actually retires, God help us all. I want to be doing this radio.
But fertilizer, that is the biggest crisis that we have that none of the media is really talking about. And the reason why this is a major problem is because farmers need to be planting right now. Yeah. And to support the seeds with their growth, they need access to fertilizers right now. There's farmers up and down the country, either one, they cannot source fertilizer, or two, they literally cannot afford to buy it.
Doesn't surprise me.
There's even farmers out there that happens to overbuy fertilizer from last year and have had it in store, and instead of planting it, they're selling it on the market because they're making more money selling the fertilizer that they've got than they would using it in the ground to grow their own crops.
I definitely recommend, if you haven't, I know a lot of people are not a big fan of Jeremy Clarkson, but Clarkson's Farm on Amazon Prime. I'm not usually one to advertise a show, but if you want to know the state of British farming, it really does highlight it. And
But how tough it is.
how tough it is.
Yeah.
And he openly says, like, I've got money to fall back on.
You know, my wife Laura, she actually laughed at me for watching. She said, "Oh, why are you watching this?"
It's fantastic.
Yeah, and I've watched every series, and I've thoroughly enjoyed. She said, "You're never going to be a farmer." I said, "I know." I said, "But it's a part of life I never knew anything about."
Yeah,
and it's just so interesting. You see what goes on, and literally, as you said, how difficult everything is. But inevitably, I mean, Clarkson and his humour.
Yeah.
He's I suppose he's like Marmite. You either love him or you can't stand him. But I do find him quite funny.
I find him quite funny as well.
Yeah.
But I think it's a really good example of how bad it is in the UK. And we need to remember we're an island as well, and we should rely more on homegrown produce, because otherwise, if we're having to import stuff in, it's gonna drive food prices up even more than they already are, and that's a scary place to be.
Indeed, I think UK is fortunate enough to be able to grow its own food as well. So the pressures
but this is the thing.
The pressures in UK farming isn't the pressure of not having enough land or arable land to be able to plant on, right? It's from imports. It's from imports.
I mean, if I said to you, "Oh, what would be the most expensive vegetables that you buy?" I'm sure you'll both say, "Oh, it'll be the organic ones."
No.
So if you look for the organic ones in the supermarket, they tend to be more expensive than the other ones.
Yeah.
And that's because for it to be called organic, they're not allowed to use fertilizer. Okay, you know, there's a fashion for going for organic.
Oh, it's just.
Well, I'm just gonna hit you with some facts, guys. Okay, because as you know, I'm a retired science teacher. If it wasn't for something called the Bosch Haber process, which is used to join nitrogen with hydrogen, and the source of that hydrogen comes from methane, natural gas, the world population would not have been able to increase. Are you ready for this? Past 4.5 billion.
Wow,
there are now 2.2 billion people in the world. Okay. So when you hear all this business about, I don't believe in fertilizers literally keeps half of the population alive.
Yeah.
Without fertilizers, the world is in complete crisis. When this process was invented, the Germans had a phrase, okay? I can't remember it in German. There was a time when I did, but it translates to bread from air.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Because the nitrogen that is used to make the fertilizer is extracted from the air. You react it with the hydrogen in the process, and it makes ammonia. And from the ammonia, you can then easily make nitrates. And it's the nitrates that go on there which fertilize the crops. So we are literally
also, I think a certain explosive is made from the same material as well. So you can imagine a lot of the weapons are produced by the same process as well. So.
That are being used in countries that we shan't mention, but we all know which ones are using it.
Yes,
we'll be sharply on.
Well, no, so we are potentially looking at next year's crops being severely down in their yields. I mean,
they're already pretty. They were bad before.
Yeah, we're looking at a major crisis, and the world leaders. Where is the pressure on Trump to stop this war? You know, this is what I can't believe. Why is every world leader afraid of this man?
I don't think it's him. I don't think it's him, because let's face it, who is he really backing here?
Well.
And I think it's more that they're afraid of them as a nation or speaking out against them, as opposed to actually Trump himself. I think Trump is just a puppet, and this war, let's face it, was caused by one person and one person alone.
Well, linking on this, another figure I came across in the last couple of days, since Brexit, have a guess how much are the nation's gross domestic product, that means the amount of wealth that we create. Have a guess how much it's gone down.
I can see the answer, so I'm not going to answer it.
Oh, you've read
I've read.
You've read my notes.
I've read your notes.
You're doing what I do on a Tuesday. You read the head. So we've lost between 6 to 8. Some people say even up to 8, but it's about 6 to 7% the country's wealth. And they keep going on all the time to get us out of a mess. We need growth. That's all that Labour has talked about since they came into power. Growth. We're going to grow our way out of this crisis. We've lost 6% of our wealth. Lost wealth because of Brexit. What does it take for our politicians to just stand up and admit that this failed? You know?
But I don't know
and
how.
Some politicians that pushed for it, they said, "Oh, it's because we didn't do Brexit properly." Well, 10 years and and we're still suffering.
Well, didn't Boris the other day admit that it had failed?
I didn't come across that.
I'm pretty sure I heard it through the grapevine, but I'd need to double check my sources on that one. But I think the problem is, if we did go back into the EU, could we go back into the EU? You know, there's other countries that are currently waiting to join the EU. They're in accession talks. And
in all honesty, because of the size of our economy, I think they'd be more than happy to have us back.
Potentially, but also our economy is pretty terrible at the minute.
Yeah.
Well, in terms of lack of growth, that's where it's terrible. But it's still the size of our economy. We're still larger than France.
Yeah.
But I think one of the reasons, I guess, why we need growth is to be able to pay the debt that we've accumulated over many millennia, and we still are bound to pay interest payments on it still from back in 1760 war with France, and that's why we can't get away from this. We are living by borrowing, and to pay back, we need the economy to grow, so that we can create taxes, right, to pay back the interest on loans, the debt that we've been buying all this time. So accumulating all this time.
Just a point linking to what you were saying about the issue with countries being looking for Israel for support. Did you come across that statement that was made by the US ambassador to America? So basically, this is the man that replaced Mandelson. I didn't find out his name. So he actually said the idea of a special relationship between the UK and the US is being questioned.
That's the other headline that you mentioned.
Yeah.
And so this guy has basically said that the only special relationship that exists is between US and Israel, not us. He actually said that.
And
that was just before the king landed.
I wouldn't be surprised. And
I have to tell you, fair play to the king. He did do
a good job. I mean, Trump really embarrassed himself with Camilla stepping in front of her when she was shaking hands to shake hands with his own staff. And she didn't shake a single hand after that. Try and find that video online. I'll send it to you. It's very embarrassing. And I saw lots of comments from people that said, you know, I'm not a royalist or I don't agree with the royal family, but what he did was beyond rude.
Yeah.
And it just shows the kind of person he is. But I don't understand why we want a special relationship with the US anymore. What does it provide us in any way, shape or form? What do we have to gain from it now? We don't get economic benefits from it, realistically.
The thing is, obviously, we're not politicians, but as political commentators, if we're thinking what I'm about to say, our politicians have to be thinking it. It is very clear, and Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada, word for word has said it. The old world order is over.
Yeah,
America is not a partner anymore. Carney has literally said it word for word. Our Prime Minister won't, but the point is, if we can think that as political commentators, of course our politicians are going to think it.
Yeah, 100%.
And the most significant thing that has happened in the last few weeks is that Starmer, the Prime Minister, has word for word said it's time in today's world to forge much stronger links with the European Union. In other words, basically what he's saying is, he's basically saying that is where our geopolitical focus is, right here, not across the pond.
I also think it should be in other global powers as well. There's plenty of other bigger economies like China, like India, that have much better. We would be much better positioned to build relationships with and be on better terms with.
That was the premise of Brexit, wasn't it? The premise of Brexit was.
But we haven't done it.
No.
Yeah, we'll pull out of
little impression here, you know, from the lovely Diane Abbott. I do like Diane Abbott, and she'll say, if you look at the numbers, you know, she loves the
numbers.
She often say this phrase, when you look at the numbers, you know, Diane Abbott. I do like Diane very much, but she often says that. Trump has actually come out with some numbers this week. I don't know if you've come across this. He's now petitioning Congress to approve the next military budget for the US Armed Forces to $1.5 trillion.
Where is he going to get that money from, realistically? Because their economy is absolutely broken. It's worse than ours.
Interestingly, we're talking about this.
But what have they just done? They invaded and kidnapped the president of Venezuela. They've now done everything with Iran. They're quite happy to destabilize the world economy, and he's openly saying that he wants to add half again onto what the current budget is already. Now, just put that in perspective. Our budget for our military right now is 62.2 billion. So right now they're spending more or less about 1,000 times more on their military than we do. I mean, that's sort of eye-watering.
It is.
So what he's proposing to do it's going to be 1,500 times our yearly spend. I mean, you know that ICE unit that he's got in America right now.
Which one? No, there's so many of them.
No, to do with all of the immigration.
Yeah.
He's spending more on that than all other law enforcement in America combined. He's spending something like 700 billion on that.
Wow.
Just on ICE.
But their crime is the highest it has ever been. You know, they've got mass shootings on an almost weekly basis. They've got food deserts. They've got huge pockets of poverty.
What I was saying is we really need to get in strong with Europe. If they're about to start spending 1.5 trillion, they're not going to have all of those soldiers and all of those ships sitting at home in the bases in Hawaii and in on the coast of California and on the East Coast. They're going to be busy going around. They're going to be busy going around the world doing something like they are now.
Or in bases in the UK, because there's plenty of American air bases in the UK. Does that benefit us at all?
Yeah, so to just explain the point that you made about the fact that the oil and connection with oil with the defense budget. So by taking over Venezuela and presumably forcing them to use the dollar as a base currency for trading Venezuelan oil, that effectively allows the Federal Reserve to then create money from nothing effectively. And you can imagine that's going to go to defense to fill in. But what it does mean is that the Federal Reserve creates money from nothing based on the confidence that people around the world have in the dollar. So if you print money out, paper money, if people haven't got the confidence, right, then the inflation will kill off the currency. So by creating that confidence, by increased demand of the dollar for trading in Venezuelan oil, it allows the Federal Reserve to create currency from nothing, and then lend it to the American federal government, who can then lend it or give it to defense companies to produce more weaponry, etc. But in essence, it will make the American military stronger, but it will make the federal government more indebted. So they'll need to fight more wars to be able to create more opportunities to be able to print more dollars.
Who have they got left to invade at this point, though?
Well, Iran, the negotiations behind the scenes, we don't talk about this, right? But one key demand Americans must have really is trade your oil in dollars, and then we'll leave you alone.
It's so frustrating to see it happening. And I'm sick of us.
Basically, that's what they want. They want capitulation back to the 1950s, which they had. after they got rid of the rule that was there, and they put the Shah in.
Isn't there still a government shutdown in the US?
I don't know.
Federal government shutdown, because they did. I need to look into that, whether it's still ongoing, but they did have a lot of.
I think it's gone. It's finished now. I think they're dealt with.
Because that was really bad. They didn't have TSA. They didn't have anyone. Even the military weren't being paid. The people that they love the most out of everyone and stand behind their troops.
Well, believe it or not, we're getting towards the end. We're down to 50 seconds.
50 seconds.
Yeah. So think about that, listeners. I think the biggest takeaway is that our government is, from additional VAT right now, every litre that you're buying is earning an extra 12 pence right now. So they could instantly, at the swipe of a pen, a tick box, say, right, we're not going to take that VAT. We're going to leave that and use that to decrease the price at the pumps. Why can't that be done right now?
Yeah.
Spread this around, folks.
Writing to your MP as well. Write to your MP, whoever it is, whether it's if you're in Luton, it's Sarah Owen. If you're in Luton North, or Rachel Hopkins if you're in Luton South.
Okay, listeners. Okay. Thanks for listening, folks. Have a good week. Till next week. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Coming up next.